China just revealed an autonomous robot war pack built from dog bots, drones, laser weapons, and unmanned boats. Europe is putting military robots through one of the toughest real-world tests anywhere. Bezos is building a $100 billion AI industry machine. Amazon is preparing for a future packed with robots. BMW is already testing new humanoids on factory work. Zuckerberg wants to build a personal superintelligence around your life. Musk is pushing a giant chip fortress, 50,000 Optimus robots, and possibly mass production through Shanghai. And Unitree's humanoids are now learning tennis, chasing boars, and sprinting at near-human record speed. All of this is happening right now, so let's talk about it. All right, let's start with China. China just officially laid out its vision for the future of ground warfare, and it is an autonomous wolf pack of robot dogs and drones that thinks and hunts as a single organism. The reveal came through a new documentary from CCTV, where the PLA walked through its roadmap from soldier support platforms all the way to fully autonomous urban combat units. The key concept is that the Wolfpack is not just a group of robots. It is a distributed network with a shared digital brain, and each machine has a specific role. Shadow is the scout, handling real-time situational awareness. Polar is the heavy lifter, moving logistics and ammunition. And then there is Bloody, the strike element, a robot dog that is basically a walking arsenal, armed with an automatic rifle, grenade launcher, and mini rockets. The new generation is faster and more durable. They hit around 15 kilometers per hour and carry up to 25 kilograms of payload. The joints are flexible enough to handle rubble and staircases in urban environments, and the control scheme is aggressively simple. One soldier can run the whole pack using voice commands, a joystick mounted on their rifle, or even gestures through a tactical glove. The wild part is a system called ATLS. Chinese engineers trained a swarm of 96 drones and robot dogs to understand each other's intent without constant radio communication. That means the network can coordinate attacks even under full signal jamming or GPS denial. The whole thing is built to operate when the classic tools of electronic warfare are turned off. And the land systems are only one layer. At sea, there are unmanned L-30 boats running at 65 kilometers per hour that can autonomously encircle and ram targets. In the air, there are laser cannons called Guangjian, where one unit blinds drone swarms and another burns out the electronics on the highest priority threats. Algorithms handle the targeting hierarchy. The operator basically gets one button: confirm strike. Now, while China is stacking robots by the thousand, the AI behind all of this is the part they are keeping most quiet about. So take the coordination claims with a bit of salt until somebody outside the CCTV edit bay sees it live. That said, this whole military robotics push is clearly not just a China story anymore. Europe is about to run one of the toughest real-world field tests for military robots anywhere in the world. Around 20 international teams are heading into the Swiss Army's Thun training area for ELROB 2026, where unmanned ground vehicles and drones will be pushed through reconnaissance, transport, and search and rescue missions in rough, natural terrain. And this matters because it is one thing to show a robot on a polished demo course. It is something else entirely to drop it into mud, uneven ground, unpredictable conditions, and realistic mission pressure. No clean urban interiors, no carefully staged environment, just open terrain and military-style tasks. That is where mobility, sensing, autonomy, and reliability all get exposed very quickly. So while China is showing off the future as a coordinated robotic combat network, Europe is basically building a public stress test for the same broader trend. The common thread is obvious. Military robotics is moving out of theory and into environments where failure actually means something. Now shifting over to something that feels like the start of a new pattern. AI agents are starting to run humanoid robots directly. A company called Humanoid ran an experiment where a cloud-based AI SAP's platform controlled a wheeled humanoid called HMD-1 Alpha through the Joule agent layer. The robot received high-level business tasks and executed them autonomously inside a real, messy warehouse. It found the right pallets, grabbed the boxes, and loaded them onto carts, all on its own. The bigger idea is that corporate AI software will not just handle things like purchasing and scheduling. It will also operate physical robots. In the enterprise of the future, your company does not just get a digital brain. It gets a set of working hands to match. Speaking of that future, Jeff Bezos is betting heavily on it. He is launching a $100 billion investment fund aimed at buying up industrial companies in aerospace, chip manufacturing, and defense, and rebuilding them around AI. And as preparation, he has been quietly snapping up AI startups. Amazon just bought a robotics startup called Fauna, along with its humanoid called Sprout. Sprout is a compact bipedal robot about a meter tall, designed with a soft shell, no sharp joints, and a focus on social interaction. The pitch is that it is safe enough to learn in human environments. A week earlier, Amazon also picked up the company behind the river delivery robots. Bezos wants to automate last-mile delivery and is not being shy about it. At the same time, leaked documents suggest Amazon is planning to replace up to 600,000 future job openings with AI and robots. So while the public messaging is careful, internally this looks very much like a long-term workforce substitution play. If you thought robots were coming for jobs in 10 years, the answer is no. They are already in line. Now, while the humanoid market expands, that also means companies can actually shop around. BMW, which had been testing Figure's robots, is now running a new humanoid from a Swiss company called Hexagon. The robot is called AEON, and BMW is testing it at the Leipzig plant on high-voltage battery assembly and complex component production. AEON is built for precision work over raw lifting. It moves on wheels at about 2.4 meters per second, which works out to almost 9 kilometers per hour, and that is several times faster than most walking humanoids. It handles parts up to 15 kilograms and swaps its own battery every 4 hours. The big takeaway is that features that seemed cutting edge a year ago are already becoming the baseline. Humanoids are starting to compete for jobs, not just attention. Now let's talk about the money side, because Mark Zuckerberg just announced he is spending $135 billion on a personal superintelligence. And if you assumed that means a super helpful assistant for you, think again. The real goal is hyper-personalized advertising. The idea is to fuse top-tier language models with Meta's social infrastructure to basically reinvent what a social network is. The AI will factor in your goals, hidden interests, habits, even your health indicators. Your feed will be generated in real time, shaped around your current mood or whatever you searched for 10 minutes ago. Your account becomes a digital twin that knows you better than you know yourself. And to keep you from ever looking away, the interface moves off the phone screen and onto smart glasses. So what do you think? Ultimate convenience or the end of private life? Drop it in the comments. Meanwhile, Elon Musk wants to end global dependence on chip suppliers. He just announced that Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI are building a vertical chip fortress in Texas on a site that is almost 9.5 square kilometers. The idea is a closed ecosystem, from raw silicon all the way to finished processors, all under one roof. The ambition is classic Musk. He is planning to run the 2-nanometer process that the rest of the world is barely starting to adopt and crank out 1 terawatt of compute capacity per year. That works out to roughly 1 million silicon wafers a month, which would be about 70% of current global production. His budget estimate is $25 billion. Analysts already put the real number closer to $50 billion. If Musk actually pulls this off, it turns Tesla and xAI into companies that no longer depend on TSMC or anybody else for silicon. That is a level of vertical integration nobody has ever seriously attempted in the chip industry. But while the fortress is still on paper, Tesla Bot 3, which was supposed to drop in the first quarter, has been pushed back. That said, Tesla's recent hiring push tells a different story. They just opened a wave of production line job listings specifically for Optimus. The prototype phase looks like it is ending, and the factory phase is starting. The internal plan is 50,000 robots this year. The first batches are not going on sale. They are being deployed inside Tesla plants, including the Texas Megafactory. There are also rumors that some will be running food service at Tesla Diner in Los Angeles, which would literally mean humanoid robots walking orders out to your car. And now there's another piece that makes that scaling story more interesting. Tesla's China leadership just suggested that Giga Shanghai could become a major enabler for mass humanoid robot production. That matters because one of the biggest bottlenecks in this entire industry is not designing a humanoid that works once. It is manufacturing huge numbers of them reliably and cheaply. That is exactly where Shanghai becomes important. The plant already pushed out around 851,000 vehicles in 2025, and it is one of Tesla's most efficient production hubs anywhere in the world. So when senior executives start saying the factory could help carry new products including robots, that is not a random comment. It sounds a lot more like Tesla looking at its strongest manufacturing base and asking how fast it can turn that into an Optimus engine. And that also fits the broader shift inside the company. Musk has been trying to get investors to care less about cars and more about autonomy, robotics, and AI. If Shanghai really starts taking on robot production responsibilities, that would be one of the clearest signs yet that Tesla is serious about moving from a car company with robot demos to a company trying to mass-produce humanoids at industrial scale. The other piece is Digital Optimus, a software agent from Tesla and xAI that can drive a robot in real time. The setup is almost elegant. Grok acts as the strategic brain. The AI-4 chip, which costs about $650, handles fast reflexes the way intuition works in humans. The system reads the last 5 seconds of screen video and then performs office-level tasks like a real employee. Musk claims this combination will let Digital Optimus scale up to entire corporations. The project has a nickname that is an obvious shot at Microsoft, Macrohard. Now let's move to a genuinely big breakthrough in robot training. Chinese scientists just taught a Unitree G1 humanoid to play a decent game of tennis. The news here is not the tennis. It is that they did it without a proper data set. Normally, training a humanoid on a dynamic task requires either a massive dataset or a lot of hand-coded motion. The team skipped both and got the robot playing in 5 hours. The technique is called latent, and inside a simulator, the robot experimented with angles, timing, and striking force on the fly. It taught itself to return shots over the net. The final result was about 90% success on forehand returns and close to 80% on backhand. Not Wimbledon level, but absolutely good enough to be a training partner for a beginner. And much more importantly, this opens up a new path for teaching robots to handle high-speed dynamic situations without manually labeled data. And Unitree is clearly not stopping at tennis. One of the weirder real-world clips making the rounds shows a customized Unitree G1 in Poland chasing wild boars through a parking lot and grassy roadside area. The robot, called Edward Warchaki, was jogging around, trying to herd the animals back toward the forest while people filmed the whole thing. Now, to be fair, the boars were not exactly impressed. They mostly ignored it and wandered off. Still, the point is bigger than the clip itself. This is a humanoid operating in an uncontrolled public setting, around animals, people, distractions, and all the usual chaos that makes the real world harder than any lab. It is also part of a growing idea that humanoids will not just work in factories. They will show up in public spaces, marketing campaigns, live events, and all kinds of situations where the value is half utility and half attention. And then there is the speed side. Unitree also just showed its H1 humanoid hitting up to 10 meters per second in a sprint test, which pushes it dangerously close to the pace behind Usain Bolt's 100-meter world record. Even if there is some measurement noise in the clip, the broader signal is hard to miss. Humanoids are getting a lot faster, a lot more agile, and a lot more physically capable in a very short time. That changes the way you think about the category. A few years ago, just getting a full-sized humanoid to walk cleanly was a headline. Now, one model is learning tennis in hours, another is jogging around public spaces in Europe, and another is flirting with elite sprint speed. The pace of improvement is getting pretty serious. That is part of a bigger shift. China is trying to become the global center of humanoid robotics, and the country now has dozens of robot schools. These are not small labs. They are massive data centers, around 10,000 square meters each, where humanoids train in industrial-scale physical work, and not in simulation either. They are generating real physical training data from real tasks. Across 40 facilities, thousands of robots are practicing motor skills 24 hours a day, from carrying trays to assembling cars, using VR and motion capture to generate something like 6 million training recordings a year. And the commercial pressure is paying off. Unitree just filed for an IPO, meaning they are no longer a promising startup. They are an industrial operation with $248 million in revenue for 2025 and a target market valuation of around $7 billion. One more signal that this space is becoming a real business. A drone company called Lucid Drone Tech just hit $75 million in profit by renting robots and drones out on a subscription model. Cleaning companies sign up and the drones take jobs those crews could not handle before. They are not just washing skyscrapers. They can paint facades, seal joints, even clean sidewalks with dedicated ground units. In 2025, the company made more profit than it had earned total over the previous 7 years and scaled its fleet from 100 to 1,000 units. That is not futurism. That is a business that is already printing money. Then there is Boston Dynamics, or more precisely, the AI Institute that spun off from it. They took a two-wheeled robot and pushed its physical capabilities about as far as they go. The result is Roadrunner, a 15-kilogram machine that switches between locomotion modes depending on the task. Its legs are fully symmetric, bending in either direction, and they can straighten into a single line when needed. And of course, in true Boston Dynamics fashion, the balance is absurd. On the lighter side, Deep Robotics just showed off a robot horse, which is basically a creative take on the companion robot idea. It is a bit cute, a bit odd, and honestly, they should just build the adult-sized version already. Anyone want to ride one to the grocery store? Also, if you want more content around science, space, and advanced tech, we've launched a separate channel for that. Links in the description, go check it out. Anyway, that is it for this one. Let me know which story surprised you the most in the comments. Drop a like if you got something out of this, and if you are into this kind of breakdown, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.